Why can't Christians in Nigeria, rise up against the killings? Why can't Christians stand up to defend themselves? Why can't Christians stand up to fight against these terrorists that are butchering them and are killing them in Nigeria? Best they can do is just to protest, to shout, and to talk on social media. They are supposed to stand up, arm themselves, arm their youths, and defend themselves and defend their fatherland and fight. Why are they not doing it? Why are Christians not, standing up to face these jihadists that are, killing them in Nigeria? And I want to answer that in this video. Christians generally follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. And the question is, did Jesus allow Christians to pick up arms and fight? Not even offensive, but in self-defense. Do we really have an explicit scriptures that give you the license or the go-ahead to pick up arms and fight, even to defend yourself? You'll be surprised that there is actually none. There is no scripture anywhere in the Bible, particularly in the New Testament, in the teaching of Jesus Christ, where he taught Christians to fight in self-defense. Nowhere. Now, how do you wake up and pick up arms to start fighting when you are following the teaching of someone who says, for example, Matthew chapter 5 verse 38 to 42. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone will sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who will borrow from you. Now you see where the problem is and why it is complicated for Christians to stand up and pick up arms and start fighting, even in self-defense. So if you are following a teaching, a religion that teaches you to bless those who curse you, to bless those who persecute you, not to curse back. A religion that teaches you to turn the other cheek when you are slapped on one cheek. A religion that teaches you not to repay evil for evil or to repay insult with insult. How do you now stand up and pick up arms and begin to fight? And even verse where Jesus seems to imply that people should arm themselves. Luke 22:36. And he said to them, but now let the one who has a purse take it, and likewise a bag, and let the one who has no sword sell his cloak and buy one. Now Jesus told them that the one who has no sword should sell his cloak and buy one. And there are evidences that some of the apostles of Jesus Christ were armed as they were moving along with him. But these same apostles in Matthew 26:52, when they wanted to use the weapon, the sword, when these people came to arrest Jesus, Peter used his sword and cut off the ear of the servant of the high priest. He said, put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. And Jesus went and picked up the ear of the man who Peter has, cut off, and he fixed the ear back. The same people that were coming to arrest him and who would eventually crucify and kill him, the ear of one of them was cut off, and Jesus came and picked the ear and fix it back. Now, this is the kind of person you are following. This is the teaching of who you are following. How then can you, pick up arms? Now, this is why no Christian can stand up and begin to assault other people or fight other people in the name of religion, because there is nowhere, no ground in the Bible or in the teaching of Jesus where they can actually use that. Now, even in self-defense, can you imagine in self-defense, which I believe the Constitution of Nigeria allows you to defend yourself against anyone that is coming to assault you. Jesus, on the contrary, said, if a man strike you on one chin, turn to him the other chin. Now, this is why it is very difficult and dicey for Christians to stand up and pick up arms and fight and defend themselves, because this is the kind of teachings we have been following. Jesus entered a particular town to propagate the gospel, and when the people rejected the gospel, his apostles suggested that he should call fire from heaven to burn down the people like Elijah did. And what did Jesus did? Jesus looked at them and rebuked them and told them, you know not what manner of spirit you have, for the Son of Man have not come to destroy or to condemn the world, but to save it. Now that is the attitude we have as Christians. This is the orientation we have as Christians. This is the mindset we have as Christians. Now, definitely everybody would agree that if Christians in Nigeria were to also rise up, pick up arms, and begin to go out there in violence, begin to attack and fight back, I assure you the country will not be conducive for anybody. If Christians will also decide to be radical, to be violent, nobody will be able to stay in the country. Now, but the problem is, any cleric, Christian cleric, that would even go out there to tell Christians to fight or anything would be on his own, because he wouldn't have anywhere in the scriptures, particularly in the New Testament, to hold his hands upon. In the Old Testament, you would of course find where the Israelites were commanded to fight, to conquer and to do that. But in Christianity, we primarily follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. And you would never find anywhere in the teachings of Jesus that will give you that clearance to engage in such violence, in such attack, and in all that. Now, but for the terrorists that are attacking Christians in Nigeria, do they have religious grounds and basis for that? Now, definitely a lot of Muslims will tell you that definitely the Quran doesn't support that. They have no ground in the Quran upon which to perpetrate their act. But these people are quoting a lot of scriptures, which, well, I will be honest to say I have studied the Quran, I've studied the Hadiths, I've studied a lot of Islamic books, and I have also engaged in a lot of intellectual discussion with Muslim friends, Muslim scholars, trying to look at areas in Christianity and Islam where we agree and areas where we differed. I used to even have different translations of the Quran, which I studied for my personal knowledge and just to get knowledge and get acquainted with Islam as a religion, as a system, what it teaches, what it promotes. And I've had a lot of these terrorists quoting a lot of verses that I am aware of in the Quran to support why they do what they do. Verses in the Quran which seems to imply that you should fight against those who do not believe in Allah, nor in the Prophet of Allah, nor in the religion of truth, that is Islam, until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. Now, a lot of Muslim scholars will tell you that when you see these scriptural verses that talk about this fight, it is not literally giving you clearance to go ahead, pick up arms and start fighting people and killing people like these terrorists are doing. The terrorists, on the other hand, will disagree with them and say, no, these people are liars, these people are hypocrites. And I'm not an Islamic scholar to be able to establish what is right in the Quran or what is wrong in the Quran, or who has the right interpretation, who has the wrong interpretation of those verses. The Muslim scholars have that that responsibility to be able to properly educate the Muslim people and the Muslim community of what the Quran is trying to say, and that the Quran does not literally mean you should go out there and fight and oppose people. But obviously the thing that is visible to the public is the fact that these terrorists are using these verses. Probably, like I said, some Muslim scholars will tell you that they are quoting them out of context. They are misinterpreting those verses. That is not what the Prophet meant. But these people are using those verses as justification for the things they are doing. And they feel they are right. And they think they are sincere in the activities of what they are doing. But for Christians, you cannot do that. You don't have anything. Even if you want to quote a scriptural verse out of context and use it as justification for you to go out there and start killing people, attacking people, you would not really find any. You will scarcely find anyone. You won't get anywhere. You will never find any outright verse in the scripture that gives you ground to go out there and fight, whether offensive or defensive. All we have been told is not to repay evil for evil, not to repay insult for insult, but with blessing. If a man curse you on this side, slap you on this side, turn to him the other side. And he said, do not resist an evil man. Pray for those who persecute you. Bless those who curse you. He said, if your enemy is hungry, give him food. If he's thirsty, give him water to drink. This the legacies that have been passed down to us by the apostles. And that is what we are living by, and that is what we are holding on to. The church has been suffering persecution from the very beginning. The founder of Christianity, Jesus Christ himself, they labeled him a liar, they told lies on him, and he died and he was killed in persecution. After him, the apostles, all of them were persecuted. Most of them were killed violently. Most of the apostles of Jesus were killed violently. And the early church suffered persecutions, killings, and all that. And you will never see anywhere the early apostles or the early Christian church pick up arms to fight. The only time you would see a body standing up to fight in the name of Christ, the gospel, the cross, and Christianity was during the period of the crusade. And everyone know that those people were grossly misguided. In fact, they have nowhere in the scriptures to really hold or use as justification for the activities they are doing. Jesus himself will deny them if he was with them, because Jesus denied even Peter, who was with him and used his sword to defend Jesus Christ when these people were coming to unjustly arrest him, where he was tried and sentenced. Even in his trial, they found no basis of fault with him, but he was still sentenced to death. And that is what has been happening to the church and Christianity for over time now. And it's sad, very sad, that even with what is evident, everybody is seeing the genocide, the killings of Christians that are going on. Some people are still trying to live in denial. Some people are still trying to deny the fact that a Christian genocide is happening in Nigeria. But that is not new. That has been the story of the church and Christianity from its very beginning. Our founder and our master, Jesus Christ, was crucified and killed. His apostles, all of them, were all killed in violent manners and in very unfair manners. And that has been what has been trailing the church until now, what we are witnessing in Nigeria. And that is why most times the best you can see Christians crying out is, okay, it seems someone out there cares. Okay, let's talk. This is what is happening. And most importantly, because, okay, Nigeria is a democracy and we say there is fairness. We say everybody has a right to life. It is on the basis of that right to life that Christians are crying out. Okay, if everybody have a right to life, why is there a group going about killing people, going about destroying houses, places of worship, and property? We thought there's a democracy here and everybody has a right to life, and there's a government and there is a military whose duty it is to ensure the safety of everybody, the safety of lives and property. This is why Christians are crying out. This is why Christians are saying, okay, if there is such a thing like this, something like this is happening to us, would you come out to defend our rights and, our freedom? Otherwise, for Christians, it is what we have been used to from the very beginning. We're used to persecution. Our founder was killed, like I said. His followers were killed. It is the same thing. And Jesus also told that we should be happy when we are persecuted because we are Christians. We should be happy when people hate us, when people spit at us and call us all kinds of names because of him. For great is our reward in heaven. He told us not to shy away from temptation. He told us not to shy away from persecutions. He told us not to shy away from all these things that is happening to us in Nigeria. Jesus has already said it before now that something like this will happen. Now, do you know, funny enough, Jesus gave a prophecy. He said a time is coming when people will kill us Christians and think they are serving God, they are doing God a service. And do you know it's exactly what these jihadists think they are doing? They are killing Christians and they believe they are doing God a service. Most of these communities that they enter to ransack and to burn houses, burn churches, what do? You hear them shouting, Allahu Akbar, God is great. They believe or they think they are doing God a service. Jesus already said it, that the time is coming when men will kill you and think they are doing God a service. So these things are not new. We know it is going to happen. We anticipated something like this happening. But the reason why we are speaking up as at this moment is in case there is anybody out there that cares. In case the society really means what it said, that is going to protect. The government really mean what they say. They will protect lives and properties, that every human being has a right to life, and nobody has the monopoly or license to move about and be killing people, destroying houses and properties. This is why we are, crying out. But if the world would continue to deny what is happening, I want you to know that if God really wants to protect his people, he wants to protect the Christian in Nigeria, God could protect. He is able. When they came to arrest Jesus, what did Jesus tell the people that came to arrest him? He told Peter, who was trying to cut off the ear of the high priest. He said, do you think if I want, I will not have asked my Father? He will send thousands of angels at my disposal. But how then will the scripture be fulfilled? So if Jesus had wanted to be freed from that hour, he would have been freed. And if God wanted to save Christians in Nigeria, he has the power, of course, to do that. But these things are happening so that scriptures will be fulfilled. And that is what we are seeing happening today. And surely there is an end to all this. It will not continue forever. An end has been decreed. We know how all these things are going to end. The Bible has already told us. The reason why you see we come out to talk like this is in case if there are people out there that really care, that want to be honest, that want to be sincere and acknowledge what is happening. Yes, we know that there are some people going out there in the name of religion to kill. We don't know them. We don't support them. And we are standing along with you to see that these people are brought to an end. That is just simply what we are saying. That we know that these people are going out in the name of Islam to kill people and to do all stuff like this. Islam doesn't support this. We don't support this. We know what they are doing, and we are standing along with you to see that these people are brought to book. They are also killing fellow Muslims, and what they are doing is evil. That is what we are asking for. That we all come out, join hands together, and label these people as terrorist faction, and join hands together to see that they are brought to book. Not that, okay, justice is about to be served, and you see some people in Kano now protesting. Okay, Trump said he's coming to Nigeria. Of course, you could hold different opinion about whether what Trump is coming to do is out of sincere motive. But let's assume Trump is really coming to really end terrorism. Should people come out and be protesting against it? What guarantee do we have that if tomorrow government really genuinely stand up to now start clamping down on terrorism and to genuinely bring an end to this terrorism that is going on, we won't still have people rising up to protest that it is Muslim genocide that is going on? That is what we are saying. Like I said, if there are people out there that wants to acknowledge this, that is just what we are asking for. That we join hands together, label this thing for what it is, call it for what it is, and see how we can join hands to bring this thing to an end. That is, if we agree that everybody has a right to life and nobody has the right to go about killing people. Let's admit what is. If Muslims are being killed in any part of Nigeria, let's all agree that yes, Muslims are being killed, and let's join hands together to oppose that and see to it that justice is being served. And if Christians are killed in any part of the country, let's join hands together and acknowledge that yes, Christians are being killed, and see that the perpetrators of those acts are brought to justice. But when we continue to live in denial, that is where we will never really get anywhere. That is what I have to say. I don't know what you want to say. If you have any contrary opinion or any light you want to shed more on this, you can leave your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, you can subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post another video like this. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.